Hi children, welcome back to the lesson interdependence of living and non-living things in the nature. Right, now this is the third session. In previous session we learned how the plants and animals they interdepend upon each other, and how the biotic components they depend upon abiotic components, and as well as how plants depend upon animal, and how animals depend upon the plants. How animal depends upon the plants, that we learned in the previous lessons sessions, right? So now let us see the food relation between the plants and animals. The interdependence between plants and animals can be understood better by using the food chain. I think you are very familiar with this word, food chain. What is food chain? The name itself indicating the chain which explains about the food habit. The chain which explains about the food habit among the plants and animals. So in fact we should write that explaining food relation, explaining food relation between plants and animals, explaining food relation between plants and animals in a chain form is called as food chain. It is called as food chain. So what we are doing here, we are going to explain the food relation between plants and animals, that too in a chain form. It is what we call food chain, right? So here the food chain tells us how the plants and animals are interdependent on each other, right? So here I'll draw two food chains and tell me the difference that you find. So this is grass, and here it is deer, and deer is eaten by lion. Again this is grass, grass is eaten by grasshopper, and grasshopper is eaten by frog, and frog is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by eagle. Okay, so here there are two food chains I drawn. What are they? Grass, deer, lion. Again grass, grasshopper, frog, snake, eagle. Here what do you observe? Whatever the food chain that you draw, the first one is always plant. The first one is always plant. Why always plant? Because plant is the only producer on the earth. Means nothing but algae also included in this, but here particularly in an ecosystem the producers are plants. So always the producers should be first at the food chain. There always should be first at food chain. So now these producers they provide food to the other animals. So now all these animals, other animals, they are called as consumers. Right? So see here, a producer can able to produce the food. The food will be produced by producer, and maximum producers are photosynthetic plants and algae. So here these plants they provide food to consumers. What are consumers? They are heterotrophs. Always the producers are autotrophs. Why? Because they can able to produce their food in their own. So they are called autotrophs, and they prepare their own food by the photosynthesis process. Whereas the consumers they depend upon the plants for the food. Directly or indirectly they depend upon the plant for the food. So now these consumers they are in different level. For example, if the consumer directly eats the plant, if the consumer directly depend upon the plant, then it is called primary consumer. What we have to say? It is primary consumer. we have to say that it is primary consumer. Primary consumer. So here grasshopper and deer both are called primary consumers. Primary consumers. Whereas immediate after primary consumer there is a secondary consumer. In case of first food chain there is directly secondary consumer. But whereas when you look into second example, here after primary consumer next three animals are there. Now the second one is called secondary consumer, third one is called tertiary consumer, and the fourth one is called top carnivore. What it is called? Top carnivore. Right? So in a food chain, the food chain not be same in all way, in all the time, in different habitat, in different ecosystem, in different weather condition, nature condition. The producers and consumers, they may change, but whatever it may be the food chain, producers are always first in the food chain. Remember, right? Producers will be always first in the food chain. Why? Because they are the only producers which providing food to the all over consumers. And here consumers, depending upon their food habits, they are three types: primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and sometimes in a long food chain top carnivores also included. Right? So here minimum there are three organisms can be seen in every food chain. Right? Not less than three, and approximately sometimes you can get 7 animals in the consumers. It is not possible in each time, but you may get up to top carnivore. 3 to 5 consumers will be seen in every food chain. Right? So here in the second example there is primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, and top level carnivore. Here what is this food chain explaining us? Here the food chain, it is explaining us about the food relation. The grass is eaten by deer, deer is eaten by lion, the grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper eaten by frog, frog eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by eagle. So here eagle, it do not eat grass. It doesn't mean that eagle don't need grass. How do it need grass? It indirectly need the grass. If there is no grass, there is no grasshopper, there is no frog, there is no snake. So without snake, there is no food for the eagle, so that it may die. So that's why each and every organism in the food chain is very important, and that too producers are very necessary. Without producer, we are unable to draw any food chain. We can't imagine the world also. Right? So here this food chain eating one another can maintain the nature balance. It maintains the balance in nature. So let us see balance in nature. How do these organisms, they balance the nature? Balance in nature. Right. So here suppose, just imagine there is a forest. In this green forest, if we kill all the tigers, if all the tigers are killed, then what happens? There is no more tiger in the forest, and the deer that is present in the forest, they increase in number. The deers increase in number and they start eating the plants. So if they keep going on eating the plants, what happens? No more plant will be seen in the forest. Why? Because all the deer, they are eating food and they are increasing in number, and the use population will depend upon the plant product, so that a time comes where there is no more plant in the forest. So is that good? No, it is very bad situation. So that's why if there is a tiger, what happens? The population of deer will be in limited range. It will be in limited range, so that the greenery will be stay forever green. Right? And we'll take another example, that is our house example. In our home, just imagine there is there is in house, for example, rats are more in number and we killed all the snakes, then what happens? The rats, they are going to damage the crop, and as well as they eat the food grains. So when they eat the food grain, there is no more food will be available for us. So that definitely it requires snake. If the snake is there, then the population of the rat decreases, and the crop will be protected and seed will be remain as it is. There is no shortage of food. So that's why balance in nature is very, very, very important. But bad luck, because of human actions, these balance can be become imbalance. So in the next session, we learn how the human being is involving in imbalancing the nature, right? So let us see what happens if you disturb the balance of the nature in the further sessions. So students, I hope you understood today's class. We'll meet in the next class and we'll discuss about the effect of imbalance in nature. Thank you now.